Welcome to video 5 in a series of 5 videos all about delivering and planning community workshops. So it could be for children, for families, or even for adults. So in previous videos 1 to 4, we've looked at why workshops may be great for you in your business. What things to consider when you're gathering ideas about and thinking about preparing for your workshop. We've also talked about the practicalities of planning your workshop, and we've talked about planning the workshop itself. And today in this video, I'm going to be sharing some key things that I've found particularly useful in running my own workshops and helping them to run smoothly. And this is basically a list of things that I have come to realize from my own mistakes. So I'm just sharing with you some learning that I have from making mistakes and being imperfect. So I'm going to be talking about things to do before the workshop, things that you can do during the workshop, and things that you can do after the workshop. That's how I have organised this bit of content. So prior to the workshop, you're going to need to communicate quite a lot of things to the attendees in your workshop. And these are the things that I've discovered I like to communicate to people. Terms and conditions. People will always want to change the date, but even people who wanted you to deliver the workshop, who said they were 100% in, they may suddenly need to change because they're going on a holiday, or somebody in their family is having an operation, or something happens, whatever it is. Just make sure that you've got your terms and conditions really clear and that you have communicated that at the point of booking, and then stick to it. So if people are trying to change, that you're sticking to your terms and conditions. Also communicate things like gathering health information from people, gathering any other information that may be useful to know. So it could be pertaining to their health, or it could be pertaining to their neurotype, or things that people need, or if they've had any experiences that they want you to know about. That's all really important. In your communication with the people who are coming, you'll need to share your timings with them, what to expect, what to bring, what not to bring, what to wear, maybe what not to wear, directions of how to get there and where to park. That's an important one. I once ran an event at a place where I thought it was obvious where it was, but it wasn't. And I had quite a few people phoning me at the time, which brings me to another one, sharing your phone number with people in case they're trying to get there and they're lost. That's really useful. Or in case people need to text you because of a last minute change, to keep you informed. So make sure that any admin or communication like this is done well before the workshop, so that it doesn't dominate your mind on the workshop day itself. So make sure that all payment has been made, all health forms have been filled in, any consent forms, if you're taking photographs, that's all sorted way before the actual day, because you're not going to want things like that in your mind on the actual day. So also, before you deliver the workshop, regulate yourself as much as you can and keep the goal of your workshop in mind. So give yourself as much time and space as possible to prepare and set the space how you like it, and allow yourself to regulate your body and your nervous system in a way that feels right for you. So whether that's meditating or dancing or listening to music or having a cup of tea in the space before everyone arrives, I think that's really important. And I personally always need way more time than I think I do to pack the car, to get things ready, to unload the car, to set up. I always need like twice the amount of time that I think I do. But then I do have ADHD, so that may be playing into it as well. So remember why you're doing what you're doing. Just take a few minutes before the workshop to remember why you're doing it, and breathe and be prepared. So during the workshop, when people first arrive, make sure that you are there to welcome people. So you're there, you're welcoming people, and you're introducing them to each other so that they can chat freely, and allowing that buffer time that I've already spoken about so that people can arrive in the space. So you may have something set out that people can do independently. People may do those things or they may choose not to. So I personally, if I'm somewhere new, I need a little bit of time to kind of acclimatize to that space, and this is due to the fact that I'm autistic. This is new learning for me. I've only known for about a year about my neurotype, but even before I knew about it, I knew that I found it difficult transitioning into a new space. And so you may have people who are neurodivergent, whether they know it or not, and who need that time and space to just arrive and be present, and like for their bodies to be used to where they are. And so when you welcome people, showing them where the toilets are, showing them where they can get themselves a drink, giving them information about where to put their belongings, and that just helps everybody kind of settle in and feel safe in the new environment. So I always like to have a paper register as well. That's just like literally, I have a little notebook. As always, I've always got a notebook on the go, or at least a rainbow of notebooks on the go. And in my notebook, I jot down just the first names of the people who I'm expecting, or you may need surnames too. Whatever information you think is going to be useful for you, just jot it down so that when people arrive, you can tick them off. So you just know, okay, who's arrived, who hasn't. And so start on time, even if people are late. People will be late because I always get at least one person who's late, but maybe I just attract people who are late. But if you don't start on time and you're waiting for people to come, then that will just stress you out because you've probably got quite a few things planned. And if you're anything like me, then you've probably got too many things planned for the amount of time that you've got. So start on time. And if you've communicated clearly that people can arrive from this time and you will be starting at this time, then it won't be a surprise that you've started, and nobody will be annoyed that you've started because you said you were going to start at that time. It's totally fair. So start on time, even if some people haven't arrived, and just accept that some people may come in a little bit later, and maybe have in your mind what you'll do if people come in later. Maybe have a little space made for them for when they arrive there. And I always like to start with a sort of welcome speech. Speech sounds wrong, but like a welcome explanation. And I like to reiterate what they can expect from the session, because some people won't have read their emails. Not everybody will. Some people will have really read their emails and know exactly what's going to happen, but some people may have just booked the day and arrived and be there. So a little review of what they can expect, an overview of some timings, the general format. People will probably want to know what time a break is planned, if you've got a break planned. I would always like to know that information. So it's good to share that information if you have it. And have your plan with you. It's okay for you to have paper planning or something in front of you. That's totally all right. I always have a plan next to me and refer to it, and just have the plan there, but be prepared to make any changes that you feel are necessary, because sometimes you get caught up in something and it just doesn't feel right to do something. That's totally okay. So don't be afraid to change your plans. And so when the workshop is going on, you may choose to be taking photographs if you have consent, but really just check in with yourself about the use of photographs, about whether it fits and suits the vibe of the moment. I really hate it when I go to workshops and somebody's there just like taking photos, like all for, it feels very performative. But if you feel like it's a natural thing to do and you want to capture the moment and people feel comfortable and the vibe is cool, then sure, take some photos, as long as it doesn't detract from you being present in the moment. And I've definitely before had a time where I used to feel like I needed to capture everything, and now I hardly ever take photographs in workshops. In fact, the past few ones that I delivered, I didn't take any photos at all, just because I wanted to be present in the moment. There is no judgment there of people taking photos, and I definitely have done before, but just checking with yourself whether it feels right for you and whether it feels right for the moment. And then after the workshop has gone spectacularly well, gather some feedback. So this could be in paper form. It could be that you email people a Google form afterwards. I've got a freebie of my feedback forms. It's just a document that you can just save and edit and change for yourself. It's just so you can see the kind of questions that I ask on my feedback forms. And feedback forms are really useful because they help you to see what people liked, what people, just people's views, because then if you're thinking of doing it again, what people's general thoughts were. But I think also they're great for kind of making you realise what other people gain from the experience. And I always find feedback forms a real boost, because sometimes I can think, oh, that didn't quite land, and then I get the feedback forms and it really did, and you just can't really tell. So it's really nice to have some feedback, and also you can convert these into testimonials for your next workshop if you plan on doing a different one, or you can use them as testimonials on your social media or on your website or on any other documentation that you have. So another thing that I like to do at the end of a workshop, either within the workshop or if I'm emailing people with a feedback form in that email, is that I like to let them know my dates of my next proposed workshop. Most of the people who came to the workshops that I delivered were return customers, so it's the same people. Or like there was like a bank of people who they'd come to some would come to some would come to some would come to some others, but it tended to be the same people, and that really saved me an awful lot of time in marketing. I hardly had to do any marketing at all, because it would be the same people that would want to come, and that's just really great to get to that stage and not have to advertise. Feels really good, or for me it feels really good, because marketing is probably my least favorite activity in my business. So sharing the dates of your next workshop is really cool, because then people know when it is, they can save it and save that date so they can come if they want to. And then when you've finished all of that, you've had your feedback forms, just spend some time to reflect on the time yourself and what went well for you, what landed, what felt really aligned for you. Were there any things that made you feel a bit like, that was a bit awkward? Or I felt a bit like disjointed when I did that, or I didn't really enjoy doing that, or that felt really great and I'd like to do more of it. And it could be that you decide to take things from the workshop and weave them into other things that you already do, like weekly classes, for example. Or it could be that you think, yeah, that worked really well, I'm going to do that in my next workshop and change it in this way. And it could be that you decide there's some things that you don't really enjoy. And like, so for example, I used to prepare food for my workshops, and I since discovered that that was really stressful for me. I got myself all worked up, and I didn't enjoy it. And so that's when I shifted to getting somebody else to create the food for me, and that just made life a whole lot easier for me. It could be that you have done some craft and then you realise that that wasn't very enjoyable for you because there was too much mess. It could be anything. So just reflect on what worked for you personally, because everything in your business has to work for you and has to feel right for you. So just taking some time to kind of reflect and use that information as feedback for future workshops, if this is something that you like to do. So remember that the whole process is not, the goal isn't to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect. The goal is just to be aligned with what feels right for you and to deliver what feels right for you and to serve your community in the way that feels right for you and to be your true self. That's the goal, is to be your true self. And so I hope that you found this video series useful. Remember that there's a book that you can download, well, booklet. I've made it sound bigger than it is. A booklet, it's not a book, just a little booklet that's got some questions in it to support you in your planning of a workshop. If that's useful to you, you can download it to accompany this video series, and you can come back to this video series anytime that works for you. Also, I have a freebie of a feedback form that might be useful to you. I'll include a link for that. And if you're considering running seasonal workshops for children or families, then you might be interested in my seasonal bundles. These are, I just basically put everything together that I used in my own workshops and that worked really well for me. I'm not saying they'll work for everyone because we're all different. We've all got different styles, but if you like my stuff and you like to try it, you might find it useful, or it might be useful just to look at anyway for you to see, oh, okay, this is how Julia does it. That's a bit shit. You might think that, or you might think it's brilliant and you might use it completely as it is, or you might change things. But in each seasonal bundle, there's one each season, and each one you've got some postcards, you've got so that you can print out if you want to, you've got some posters which follow a story. And you can print those out and give them out as a little gift if you want to, or you can have them with you to help you tell the story if you want to. There's a little yoga adventure story with the poses. There's like a relaxation story. There are loads and loads of game ideas. There's lots of different prop ideas. There's craft ideas. All included in each bundle. It's basically what I have done in my own workshops. And so the things that I've done in these workshops, the things that I've included in the bundle are things I've done in workshops, and I've then used those things in some of my classes too. So I've taken out some of the games, or I've taken out, I've reused the relaxation story. I've basically repurposed all of the stuff that's in my workshops within my classes too. So they're quite a useful tool, I think, that you could use in your classes too if you teach children. Okay, well, that's all from me for now. If you have a question about this or anything else, please comment on this video or email me, julia@juliahankins.co.uk. If there's something that you're struggling with and you'd like some extra support with, you can book a mentor session with me, and I'll pop the link below. If you can't afford to work with me right now, you can email me a question and I can always answer it in one of these videos here. Thanks very much for watching.